Greetings in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach. First of all, I wanted to talk about whenever I'm putting in a video about the DNA, there are some group of people, African Hebrew Israelite or Black Hebrew Israelite. Some members are always giving a hard time and commenting area, and a lot of times I'm disappointed the way they present themselves, because what I heard about is what they're saying: the current Jewish population in Israel, especially for those Ashkenazi Jewish population, they call they are the descendants of Japhet and not the Jewish. Well, because of Ashkenazi, the name comes from Germany, but actually, historically, the Jewish population were there. And the population, when they became the community, and that place, the reason it is because it's named the Ashkenaz, which means Germany. But there were originally, the name came from Ashkenaz. This is the northeastern part of Turkey, and this city is called Ashkenaz, E-S-K-E-N-A-Z-I, Ashkenaz, and that's a border, close to the border with the Georgia. And the Georgian population of Jews are coming from Persia. And throughout the history of this area were big community of Jews. And considering they are the Ashkenazi Jews, original. And what I'm trying to collect some area, because of what I heard, they say the Black Hebrew Israelites are the true Jews. They don't call themselves a Jew, but the Hebrews. And the Jewish population in Israel are fake, or another word they say, the sons of Japhet, not the Semitic. So I wanted to remark, when the Jewish population during the time, in the medieval times, the place called the Khazar Empire, the king of Khazar were possibly, he was not a Jew, but he did convert it to the Jew. And most of the population did convert it. But there were a lot of a Jewish population during the time, because of the Rome castes the Jewish population in Jerusalem. So many Jews lived in Khazaria, and another word, Scythians populations together, because of that connecting from Ukraine, is a part, eastern Ukraine is a part of Khazar, and there were the tribe called Khazar in Kazakhstan, so that it's the northwestern part of a border with Kazakhstan, and also Russian part was extended population of Khazar Empire, and there were so many Jews. And the Scythians, after they defeated the Assyrian Empire, they took the 10 lost tribes of Israel, and also many Levites and the tribe of Judah joined in with the Khazarian Empire. At that time, since there was no Israel, then this is another subject to talk about it. But definitely the Khazar Jews were real descendants of Israel, sons of Jacob. Okay, so do not mistake, because of the genetically also they find the DNA that they took Kohen model haplotype or Rabbi, the sons of Aaron. They still have the same genetic mark of a Levites of Ashkenazi Jewish population, and they are genetically related to the Middle Eastern rather than Western Europeans. So they are the Jewish to begin with, and many Western Europeans were a Jewish population. Remember the Jewish community, or when they exiled from Egypt, the community of Jews moved together like a group of, you see in African elephant, moved together, and when they crossing into the another side of the river, if one person left behind, all the families are returned to other side of the river, and pick the baby up or join together and then move back again to another side. So the Jewish population, when they come out after the Roman Empire, that most of the Jewish population split into the Western Europe, and somehow that's where Jewish populations are today. And there are some Jewish population in Spain as well as Middle East. But Middle East is called Mizrahi Jews, and the Spanish Jews are called, Spanish and Portuguese are called Sephardic Jews. But Sephardic Jews and Ashkenazi Jews are more related in genetically through DNA. So they are the same family rather than district divided. The name is Sephardic, means Portugal or the Spanish Jews. So German, Ashkenaz means German Jews. So the DNA shows that the population of Ashkenazi and Sephardic are the same genetic population of Jews today. And again, the Jews is, how do you define the Jewish DNA? It's only through the, right now, the CMH, Kohen model haplotype. Both Ashkenazi Jews and the Sephardic Jews has the Kohen model haplotype, and that defines the sons of Aaron, because of Levites forbid to marry with a non-Levite population. So they kept, the rabbis still kept the CMH until today. So that you will find CMH population, most CMH, the Kohen model haplotype, in J1 and also J2 and I1 and I2, also found in the Cohen model haplotype. Remember, J and I are the same group of a Semitic population coming from Middle East. So the other tribes, rather than Aaronic tribes, or the Jewish tribes, also tells that the people remarks with because of other haplogroups. But other haplogroups, if it is not the Semitic population, but still counted as a Jewish haplogroup, because it really is not about the Jewish population counted, it's really counted as a group of people who practices Judaism. So if someone with R1A, R1B is still considering Jewish population. NTQ, also not Semitic, but still counted as Jewish DNA because of group of people founding through these DNA groups. How about G? Yes, G population is also counted as a Jewish population. And E1B. The E1B1B is a Jewish population, but E1B1A is not the Jewish population. It's E1B1A is Niger Kordofan population, mostly found in West African Bantu speaking population. So E1B1B and E1B1A are the twins, but E1B1B comes from E1B1 and E1B1A comes from E1B1. Particularly, this is not a Semitic DNA, but still counted as E1B1B is a Jewish, since the group of people. Actually, E1B founding in Somali or Ethiopian, North African, Canaanite, Hamitic people in DNA. So the Jewish populations in Israel in haplogroups comes from variety of a different haplogroups. Is counting as a Jew, but Semitic DNA is only on J and I. But the Semitic population, most of our Semitic population left Middle East, went to the Europe, Western Europe, or the Eastern Europe. That's why you will find so many Jewish population in Western Europe, either Ashkenazi or Sephardic. And if you want to walk in through the DNA sequences, the one thing I can tell you, if you claim that E1B group claiming to be a Jew, then that has to be accepting other haplogroups And this has to be works out with the other tribes to become one Israel. Because of Israel, Jewish population is not about color, but the belief in a religious system, also for the ethnicity. So the ethnicity is important as religiosity. Remember, 1/3 of non-Hebrew left Egypt during the Exodus, crossing the Red Sea, were the Canaanite population, and still counted as a group of Jewish population. The E1B spread throughout the group, north to south, to the east, to the west. So you can find them in Ashkenazi population, you can find them in the Sephardic population, and also you can find in some Indian or Ethiopian population, the Jewish population. E1B is mostly Somali and Ethiopian, Horn of Africans, origins of original DNA, and they split it. And the North African Egyptians and North Africans, Moroccans, E1B1B, same as the other Africans. And the E1B1A is the sub-Saharan African Bantu and other populations in Africa. So they split it into the Canaan. So that also that's called the Canaanite tribe has the same Palestinians, also has the same DNA marks. And remember, this is my thought, the Rachel's son, Joseph, birth Manasseh and Ephraim. Rachel birth Joseph. Joseph married priest of On, the daughter Asenath, and she was a Canaanite son of Ham, Canaanite woman, Egyptian daughter of priest of On. The Asenath described to be a non-Hebrew who married to the sons of Joseph, Manasseh and Ephraim. And Manasseh and Ephraim was half Egyptian. Remember that Jewish population tribe also has E1B1 group, so that this Manasseh is eventually is a larger tribe. They have an Eastern Manasseh, Western Manasseh, and most of our population living in the central part of Israel, and still coming. So that it's a big portion of a Jewish population in Israel today. And also Ephraim, actually Ephraim and Manasseh are the same group, which is called the twins, E1B1A and E1B1B. And tribe of Issachar and Zebulun were twins as well. They are coming from the sons of Leah. Leah had 6 sons, okay? And the Leah sons J1, J2, described J2 is a Judah, and J1 is a Levi, and have some mixture. There is some Reuben, Simeon, and they left it out with the Issachar and the Zebulun tribe. I1 described to be tribe of Zebulun, and I2 described to be tribe of Issachar, and which were separated into the north. So the DNA of sons of Leah was identical because of the other sons of Leah had a mark of J, and I are the twins, haplogroup. Okay, so where is the R1A and R1B? In my opinion, R1A and R1B are either one R1A or R1B. Either one is the sons of concubines of Leah, Zilpah, Gad, and Asher, or sons of Bilhah, the concubine of Rachel, Dan, and Naphtali. So that these tribes are splitting into the northern hemisphere. I believe these four tribes also went down to the south, so that Ethiopian Jews are called the tribe of Dan, descendant of Dan today. Remember, Dan had two portions. Where the Tel Aviv today, the central part of Israel, and he fled into the north. And some say that the Danites, tribe of Dan, fled into the Danube River. That's why the name coming from Dan, and it's the European tribe also have the tribe of Dan, and also Ethiopian African has tribe of Dan. And I believe I have to come back with the R1A or R1B, because of some would say opposite opinion of mine. But everybody have a different opinion on the tribe of Israel. So I'm still working on it, and I will improve my conversation to finding out more details, because of some people think the Danube is eventually comes from the name daughter of Jacob, Dinah, instead of tribe of Dan. So I am not sure this is really that name coming from or not. I have to research on that. And as you know, the Bunai Manasseh, the East Indian Burmese, about 7,000 people in Israel. They are airlifted by Rabbi Michael Friend of Shabbat Israel. They do not have Jewish DNA, but they have a DNA called O. It's Japhet DNA, O, and no other group of Jewish population as a whole. Okay, this is a East Asian haplogroup, but they are joining in to this Israel because of their faith in Judaism, so that Jewish nation are accepting the converts as a Jews, also with the ethnicity, but the DNA is much about you are finding out you have a Jewish DNA, but if you are not converting into the Judaism, the nation of Israel, the government would not accepting as you just have the DNA. That's a difference because of many Arab population, Islamic population has the same identity. The Muslims took over 700 BC, AD, the Islam spread, so they're forcing conversion into other group of ethnicity. So many also have the Jewish population in the Muslim community, Muslim descendants. Just trying to correct something with black Hebrew Israelite, because of you are not only just Jewish population, but also there are many Jewish